Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. Slightly earlier time today. I'm out for lunch, so blame me for the odd time. But I appreciate everyone coming to watch, everyone coming on the stream as well during lunchtime. Great panel as always. So let me go through them one at a time. We talk about the Leeds preview today. Eujin, how you doing? Week off last week, but back with a crazy stream this Sunday. Spurs Eujin TV. Anyone who doesn't know about that, where can they find that?
Spurs Vision TV Sunday is going back to the normal 1 p.m. GMT stream. Not going to do the long streams and all that because it'll run throughout the whole night for me. So I rather because it's 12:30 a.m. my time. You get what I'm saying? So I rather lay back and enjoy the match and before I fall asleep. Right. But guys, thanks for having me on, Chris. Spurs Vision TV.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Always welcome, all of you.
If you have not subscribed, subscribe. If you're not like, right. Do the same for all the guys around here, especially Chris, right?
Cheers. And Tommy, you've just been for a run, haven't you? How was the run?
Yeah, no, buttocks are cramping up. So yeah.
And now you get to talk about
Eugene,
what a wonderful day.
Eugene, I'm not sure how long is your stream going to be. You haven't that hasn't helped me at all. Like, what is it?
This Sunday stream?
Yeah, this Sunday.
3 hours.
Okay. All right. So you calm down a little bit. You've calmed down a little bit then.
He says 3 hours. It'll be 13 by the end of it.
You know what? I can't get rid of the panelists. You know, they keep hopping on.
Well, that's it. I couldn't find a place a couple of weeks back. I couldn't get a place. He was full up for about an hour, sitting backstage for about an hour.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tommy, when you're not running, you've got Tommy Talks Ball on YouTube. Where can people find that?
Yeah, so exactly as you said, my little name there, Tommy Talks Ball at Tommy Talks Ball, Twitter, my Twitter handle and my YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribe. Obviously not before you subscribe to Chris here. And I done a little preview yesterday. Usually I'll do it Friday evening. So if you've got some time to spare, check that out and chuck a few likes on there too. So cheers for having me, Chris. Always great to be on your channel.
No problem. Always welcome. Just a couple of comments quickly. Mark Swift been cut down to 24 hours. Eugene's channel. Wayne is always in. How you doing, Wayne? And like Mark says, appreciate the call to arms. Hit that like and sub. And last but no means least, Mark from Emotion Pod, the Raw Emotion Podcast. I know you don't like particularly promoting your podcast, so I won't make you, but there is something you want to promote, which is happening before the game this Sunday.
Yeah, so part of the reason I don't bother promoting the pod, we never do it anymore.
That's one reason. Isn't it?
Yeah, there's no point. But yeah, so thank you, Chris. Myself and Mac, who does the Emotion Pod with me, we're running the bar at Le Royale on Sunday. It opens at 11 o'clock. Mickey Hazard and Graham Roberts are there from I think 11 till 1, and then Mark Falco and Paul Miller are there from 2 till 4. It's free to get in. Just turn up. You don't have to pay to get in. You don't need to book a place. It's £4 a pint. Kids, I think we could £1 for fruit juice and £1.50 for a Coke. There's always loads of room there. Come down, get involved. I think there's like an auction. There's memorabilia. There's loads of space. Come down, get involved.
Yeah, Mark, I thought you want to say kids drink for free.
No.
Kids.
Get on the beer for free.
Yeah.
If you don't follow Mark, then his Twitter handle is in the description with all the details there. But if not, I've retweeted it this morning, so you'll be able to find that and all the details there. One more comment, Jamie from Talking Tottenham TV. No one at work today, just me then, I guess. But I'm you're watching the stream, so you know that is no one at work. But all of those YouTube channels, hit the likes, hit the subscribes on them, hit the like, hit subscribe here. It all helps the channels grow, every single one of them. And welcome to everyone in the chat. A lot of regulars there. I appreciate that. It all helps the channel grow. Let's get back down to business. Let's start with this. Kane's international form. Eugene, 7 goals, 2 games. Yes, San Marino. Yes, Albania. But when you're struggling as a striker, you just need the ball to go in the back of the net. So will that international form continue? And we're against the Leeds team that do ship goals, even last year when they were bang on form and taking the league by surprise. Do you see Kane's international form continuing, or do you think there's still issues at Tottenham that will prevent that happening, or it's too early in the day for Conte at the moment?
To tell the truth, I hope he translate that form into the club scene, right? For the international scene, Kane has always been banging it in. Come on, Albania, San Marino. He's getting it. At least he scored, right? If he didn't score against Albania and San Marino, then that would be a big problem. Right? But I think I just saw a training video. Most recently released training video. I've seen Højbjerg's training, Son is training, Kane is training. So I guess we do have quite a good squad coming in for the Leeds game. And with the other of the guys being left behind, being groomed and trained by Conte to do what he wants them to do, maybe Kane will be getting more service in the box now, right? I think our problem is that Kane hasn't been getting service into the box. So let's see. Maybe, like I said, very good opportunity for Kane, and Leeds all gung-ho. So let's see whether we can counter that. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Tommy? I mean, do you think Kane needed that, just banging in the goals? Because there's been a lot of question marks on him, certainly at Spurs, not England, with attitude and all of this business. But then from all across the board, that he's not the striker he used to be. He's not scoring goals. So even though it's Albania, San Marino, and certainly that dribble kind of goal where he shimmered it left to right against San Marino and the overhead kick against Albania, that doesn't happen if he hasn't scored a goal, because that's confidence there. So do you think his confidence has come back and he needed that? Or do you think he never really had any doubt in his ability, and it's like Eujin says, we just don't give him the service?
Well, it's just six months ago he was a top assist maker and goal scorer, so he hasn't nosedived spectacularly in 6 months. So he's still for me, he is still the best striker in the world. Even I'd say he's still the best striker in the world. You can't change that in a 4 or 5 month period. I know Haaland's good, but he's only been there 2 years. He's only been at Dortmund 2 years. So it's still early for him. Lewandowski can compete. So Kane's the best striker in the world for me. Under Nuno, nobody could get any service. Not just Kane. We didn't have a shot on target for 3 games. We could not get Kane the ball in the box. He must have had 10 touches all season in the opponent's box. Madness, absolutely madness. No striker's going to score with that attack around him, with the players around him, and the strategy Nuno used. But look, the international break, 7 goals. San Marino. What their population is about 26,000. I live in a small town, and our population is bigger than that. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't be part of it. I heard somebody talk about they have to qualify to get into the qualifying. If that makes sense.
A little while ago.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Like how the Asians do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because it's a joke. San Marino, Liechtenstein were even worse. Germany beat them 9-0. They had 42 shots. I've never seen that. I've never seen 42 shots. That's just incredible. But Albania are no mugs. The hat-trick he got against Albania beat Wales. Albania drew against Wales the last couple of years. Wales are no mugs. Bale, Ramsey, Rodon, they beat them. So Albania no mugs. 5-0 is a very good result. But Albania don't lose 5-0. So yeah, Kane. If you feed Kane, if you get the ball to him in the box, he will score. The issue is we can get the ball to him against the Murras, because the Murra defenses are weak. They're leaky. Like when he came on for 19 minutes to score that hat trick. We need the quality to break down Premier League defenses. We don't have that right now. Hopefully with Conte, and I'm sure with Conte, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. But he'll start scoring. I keep saying it, but the floodgates will open. The floodgates will open shortly with Harry Kane, I'm sure.
I mean, Mark, it said to me those games, that's what happens when you get Kane staying in the box and when you get the ball into the box in those areas for him, which Nuno, to me, it looked like he was unaware that Son and Kane were playing at times, the lack of service to them. And at least with Jose, it was defensive, but defensive with the mindset of that Kane and Son are our target men and the ones who are going to get our goals. So we're defensive, but getting them in the game as well. Whereas Nuno didn't seem to do that at all. And like Eugene said, we need the creativity to get the ball to him. But do you see this form continuing for Kane? And I mean, Conte's not stupid, is he? He knows. And he said during Euro 2020, in the punditry that you need Kane in the box. So do you think that will be not a reminder to him, because he said that before, so he knows, but do you think that will be a kind of reminder to him that that's what we need? We don't need Kane drifting and looking for the ball. And do you think that will happen a bit more now?
First of all, I mean, I don't think he's been great for England anyway. He was obviously against San Marino and Albania, but I remember back from the Euros, he was getting absolutely hammered for being shit, and he shouldn't be dropping off and all that stuff. I know he scored against Germany. He scored a penalty against Denmark, which he missed, and then come back to him and he scored it. He did get 1 or 2 goals, but I don't think he was great in the Euros, to be honest with you. Form wasn't fantastic anyway. I watch England a lot. I'm sure we all do, but he in the other games, in the build-up to it, he scored against Poland. I think against Hungary, he didn't score. He hasn't been fantastic for England recently. He's not been in great form for England. So, and he also scored a hat-trick against Mora. So when he's been playing against sort of weaker sides, he has been scoring goals. I think he will stay in the box. You've said it already, Chris. Conte said he wants to see him in the box for the Euros. That's where I want to see him as well. I don't want to see him dropping off. But the problem we've got, Chris, like you've always said, mate, we don't have a playmaker. So this has been part of the problem, I think. We've been using Kane to drop off because we've got no one else doing that job, where Son is running in behind and Kane's trying to find him. So we need to address that in the summer. I know, Tommy, you said on your stream the other day that that's the most important position for you as well. Chris has been banging that drum for a long time.
I'd be sorting that out in January, not in the summer. I'd be getting that.
Oh, no, that's what I meant. I meant
January, and then that be the priority.
I think Conte will be doing that. I'm convinced Conte will be doing that this January.
So I do think his form will pick up, but I think it's more psychological, mate, than anything else. I really do. I think that stuff that happened in the summer has really affected him mentally.
What part of that? Do you think it's the fact that he thought, because I personally think he thought that, oh, I'm loved here, Levy's hated, I can go against Levy, fans will just back me, and then he seems to have forgotten that the club's badge is bigger than any player, manager, chairman or whatever, and I don't think he thought that the backlash would come to him. I thought it would always be on Levy, and he was scot-free and everything, and I think he's seriously misjudged that. So what do you think it mentally was the issue with all of that summer, or do you think it's something else?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I think fans would have backed him had he have done things from what we see and what the media tell us, with him missing training and stuff. Where we don't know the truth, but we got to go on what we've been told, and that's all we can go on. Is that he missed training, he didn't turn up, he was late back. We saw the Gary Neville thing before a big game against Aston Villa, which pissed everyone. He didn't go about things the right way, and that's the reason. Yeah. All fans were saying, including myself, no one has an issue with him wanting to go. The way he handled it was completely wrong, and I do think he was surprised at some of the backlash. I've got to go because this dog, I don't know if you can hear him in the background. Crashing at my dog. I think he wants to go to the toilet, so I'll be back in a second.
All right, no worries. Just a quick message. Barry Ambrose, another regular. How you doing, Barry? Cheers for watching and the comments. Kane hat-trick. Conte want goals after the Everton game.
We want goals after the Everton game.
We want a shot on target. We'd like a shot on target. Shot on target would be nice.
I'm not sure you go from no shots on target in 2 games to a Kane hat-trick, but I appreciate the optimism. But, I mean, that brings us on to Leeds, Eugin. They've struggled this season. I personally think that teams have figured them out. You're compact against them. Bamford being injured hasn't helped them, let's say that, and we'll come on to him a little bit later. Keep compact against them, don't give them chances, and they'll always give you some chances. And with this game coming with the lack of a playmaker, we didn't have a playmaker against Newcastle who was so open. We didn't have one against Villa who was so open. So I can see the same thing happening with Leeds, where they're so open and we don't necessarily need that playmaker, Lo Celso, Ndombele or whoever provides that. But what's your views on that? And why do you think Leeds have struggled this season? Or was it just the cliched second season syndrome?
Mm-hmm. So what I see is, I was on Tommy's stream yesterday with, I'm not with one of his earlier guests was a Leeds fan, right? They do have their injury problems, like Luke Ayling, right? You guys he was talking about, even Tommy was talking about. Bamford is not there, so they don't have a proven goal scorer, right? But I think sometimes it's hard to say the way Bielsa sets them up, right? Because they go all out all the time. There might be some detriment there. They can attack, they can go forward all the time, but whether they can defend or not, that's another question. But maybe they're being found out. A lot of teams, in the startings, when they came up last season, in the beginning, nobody expected Leeds to play like that, right? They just went out and went bam, 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 and everybody's like, oh, wow. But as it went on, right, the managers found out how to counter his, all-out attacking kind of strategy and all that, wear them down, sit back, counter them, right? And with some defensive problems that they have now, we look the chances are much more higher for us because, number one, don't forget that we did beat them last season at home, okay? But of course, don't talk about the away game under who, right? So, all right. But Leeds second season syndrome might play a part too, right? They're sitting where now? 17, 16?
Yeah, 16th or 17th. They're 3 points above the relegation zone.
Yeah. So if you start to struggle, and if the team doesn't gel properly, or maybe there's fatigue into it, right? Don't forget, Bielsa's training is hard, right? And players can't take it. If they don't show it now, they'll show it later, right? Or maybe it's carrying forward from last season because even though they are not in Europe and all that, don't forget the Premier League's intensity is totally different from the Championship. But even though the Championship plays more games, it's a totally different ball game in the Premier League. So, if you get found out, you get found out. But a lot of Leeds fans do believe in Bielsa, to tell the truth. I believe in him too, right? The way he plays and all that is good attacking football. But he needs to find a way to shore up his defense,
Yeah, a couple of comments here. Adam, not just on this stream, he's a regular on literally every Spurs stream. A really good supporter of all Spurs channels. Just one shot on target, we'll be making progress. Do that in the first 5 minutes, then carry on and get maybe double figures. Mark Swift is going 2-0. We'll get to predictions a little bit later. But Adam, slightly less optimistic, 2-1. And then he's literally gone from Adam, quite optimistic, to down in the dumps. Very Spursy to lose to a team suffering from second season syndrome. We've only been going 18 minutes. He's gone from up there to down there. I mean, that's what Spurs do to you. Bob Spur, how you doing, Bob? I got this insult yesterday. Big up gorgeous people and Eugene. Thoughts on those ridiculous reports. We'll get to this later. Eugene and me and Mark were talking about this off air. Thoughts on those ridiculous reports and reaction to Poch being lined up after Conte.
Oh, not Poch and Chris. Not Poch and Chris, please.
Well, it's from the Athletic. I don't want to say I work for the Athletic, but I write. We'll get to that a bit later. And another one from Mark. Poch is coming home. And we should be winning because we're at home. Cody Mack, how you doing, Cody? Great to have you on. Following Bob Spur there, you seem to be a bit insulted here, Eugene. Hello, gentlemen, and also Eugene.
I think.
But yeah, thanks to all the comments, for all the people watching, getting involved. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, you know the drill, and then go into the description and get all of these other guys' streams and podcasts and do the same. But Tommy, Leeds aren't a bad team. They don't turn into a bad team overnight. But I think as good as Bielsa is, he has plan A, and seemingly that's it. Attack, and that's it. And like Eugene said, not many people probably suspected Leeds to play the way they did last season, and now they have, and they have no other way of playing. It's probably quite easy if you're tactically kind of astute and everything like that to combat a way to play them. So do you think, as good as Bielsa is, it's kind of a detriment that he only plays one way? I mean, injuries don't help, and Bamford was a massive player for them last year. And with the comment, it would be very Spursy to lose to a team suffering from second season syndrome. Do you think Leeds will look at this as this can be the kick start to our season? And we've been here before with Arsenal where they were struggling and we didn't turn up. A lot of questions there. I apologise.
No,
Can't remember how many I've asked.
well, it's quite complex with Leeds. It is quite complex. That's probably why you have so many questions, because it's not just the injuries. It's, I suppose I would say it's a little part down to second season syndrome. It's similar to Sheffield United in many ways. I rate Leeds higher than Sheffield United, especially as a club traditionally. But they have a very specific way in playing. Now, Sheffield United were outstacked the three at the back with the left centre back and the right centre back basically playing as wingers. Sometimes it was very, very unique. And as you say, Bielsa is unique as well in his first season, but he can't really adapt. There is, even when they went 3-0 down, 4-0 down, we beat them 3-0. First game of last season. They never changed. They never changed their approach. So, they win, live by the sword, die by the sword. That's how they approach games. But injuries have played a part. So their defense has been absolutely destroyed. Their centre backs, as Luke Ayling is a big player for them. He's a right back. He's not on the word of many, the mouth of many people, but he is an outstanding. He's a leader in that championship team that got promoted. He was their best player. 3 years on the bounce. He got their player of the year. So the leaders in the dressing room. He's not there. Bamford there. The only recognised striker. They're playing Daniel James up front. He's a right winger for Man United. They're playing him up top a lot of the time. It works in our favour. We should be able to cope with Daniel James up top with three at the back and Conte at the helm. But there are a number of things. Now, we can blame injuries with Leeds, but Bielsa likes working with a small squad, and that's one of the problems. One of the positives are the fact that you have unbelievable morale within the 17 or 18, rather than the 20, 25. The morale may not be there because you're constantly rotating. But they've got a camaraderie. They've definitely got a camaraderie. But it's to your detriment, as you say, when you get injuries, because their second is just not good enough. Their second team is just not good enough. And that the 7 players from 18 to 25, they've just not been playing football the last 2 years. So it's we should win comfortably, but it certainly is Spursy. I'm completely wrong. I said Leeds are going to have a great second season. I didn't think they were going to have second season syndrome, but injuries have played a part. And as you say, teams have worked them out in many ways. But I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I really don't think it's going to be an easy game.
No. Message from Cody Mack here. He shaved his beard off. I think he lost a bet on Twitter, 1,000 likes or something like that. So he's very jealous of how warm your face looks with a beard. I suspect that it won't be long until he's got a beard back again.
Looks like a different human being. Will is still the one I can't get over. Will's wasn't even as big, but he just looks like a different species without a beard.
Tommy, we can't get over you.
The Tash is coming back.
And Bob has taken Adam's pessimism and gone the other way. 4-0 Spurs. It's possible with Leeds' defence, but I still don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. And Mark, Cody has said Lo Celso is injured as per Conte this morning. Guess we'll have to get someone else to take corners. But that kind of brings us to Romero. So there was rumours that he was injured as well. So I can't remember, Eugin, did you say Romero was in training or was he...
No, he wasn't in training.
He's done his hamstring. He's done his hamstring, so he's not playing.
Mark, not so much Lo Celso, Mark, because he's kind of been in and out of the team. But Romero looks to be a fixture now. The goal Villa scored was his fault, but he seems to have learned from that very quickly, and he seems to be not looking out of place at all. So. Is it a good time to play? Good game to play Leeds, being that Bamford's injured and they're struggling, or is it never a good time to lose someone like a Romero if what it looks like he won't be playing?
Yeah, you don't want to lose your best defender, especially with the defenders that we've got, and the mistakes that they make. To be honest with you, I don't know whether you watched the game, the Brazil Argentina game. I was watching it, and he was injured, and there was a sub on the sideline. And he waved him on and said, "No, I'm all right. I'm okay." And he carried on for like another 30-odd seconds and then had to come off. He was down on the floor, sitting down. So I'm hoping that it's not too serious. I'm hoping. He worries me, man. That guy worries me. Like he was I think you watched it, Tommy, didn't you? He was flying into things, man. He needs to calm down a bit.
This is the thing. A centre-back shouldn't be doing his hamstring. because you don't use your hams. You shouldn't be using your pace. The best defenders, it's all about position. Don't get me wrong. He's been absolutely fantastic the last few games, but he still has a lot to learn. He can be over aggressive.
I thought though against West Ham, he obviously got done by Antonio a couple of times, and then he started going in. So Antonio's back to goal, and then before the ball even gets to him, Romero's there. So I like that. I like the anticipation there. But yeah, the Villa goal. I mean, you got pillared for it, Tommy, didn't you? So like criticising him after he won.
Well, he done the same against Newcastle. He done the same against Newcastle. Yeah.
But certainly with the Villa game, I thought you were right. He left everyone exposed, and then they scored. But
I think he worked better in the back three because I don't know a great deal about him, but I was watching again just clips on YouTube when we were meant to be signing him, and he did used to break away, and he's done it for us when he's like running with the ball like and attacking. But with a free, the other they'll sit back and allow him to do that. So I think he's going to work better on the free. But he does worry me. It does worry me the way he flies in. He barged Vinicius Junior for no real reason, and I just think if you're doing that in the Prem, that's a yellow card straight away.
He's done that twice, hasn't he? With 4 nows, and he did it with someone else.
He did it in the Europa Conference as well. It's just such a silly thing to do, where he's holding on. Got sent off for 2 yellows, and you just think. I'm hoping Conte will iron that kind of stuff out because we've got the makings of like a fantastic defender there, a brilliant defender for years ahead. So we just need to. It just needs to calm down a little bit, I think, and Conte will coach that out of him. I'm hoping, but yeah,
let's work on the proviso. He's injured for Leeds. Who comes in for you?
Tanganga for me. Tanganga on the right, but then I suppose if you've got Ben Davis on the left, and then you got it's a difficult one. But I personally would have Tanganga. I would like personally for me, he won't do this, but I would like to see Tanganga, Rodon. And again, I always say it's a toss of a coin, Sanchez or Dyer, to be honest with you.
I really like Sanchez. I know, Tommy, you're not a massive fan of Rodon in the sense that you think he's got a few issues in defensive positioning, I think is he looks to go for the ball. Is that right? I know you've mentioned a few things before.
Well, everybody talks about Rodon, but the managers just don't play them. It doesn't. No, they don't play him. They just don't play him. He's always fit. But the managers don't want to know. He couldn't even get on the bench with Mason. And we can diss Mason all we want, but he knows more than us about when it comes to football. Let's face it. Right, Mason knows more than any streamer about football. And if he's not putting him on the bench, then there are problems there. Mourinho only started putting him in when his job was really, really at risk. He was just throwing anyone in here, there, and everywhere, any formation. So just to try and save his job. He's an average player for me. There are massive links with Brighton. There were in the summer because they never replaced Ben White. So, there's no smoke without fire. Well, there is in football. We know that. But that Brighton move, I think that will happen. So I don't think he has much of a future, especially with Conte. If he's going to bring a centre-back or two in, Rodon's in trouble.
I agree with you, Tommy. I do agree with you.
Trouble.
I don't think he's a long-term. I don't think long-term he's going to be at Tottenham.
I think he's a decent player. I think he's a Brighton player.
Do you not think it could be the fact that he's obviously at Swansea, come up to Spurs, who a big step up there, and Conte does improve players. Victor Moses, just for one example. Do you not think, Tommy, it could be a situation like that where he could improve him, or do you think there's too many in front of him and he's too far behind and it's not going to happen? Because Victor Moses was pretty much in the team when Conte took over, and he just tweaked it a little bit, but he was always in the team. He wasn't on the fringes.
But that's the one thing I watch. I'm not good with the midfield or attack so much. I'm always watching the defence. When I used to be a scout, I was always looking at the defensive line, and I see Rodon's eyes. I always look at the defender's eyes, and he's just completely transfixed with the ball. Doesn't mark his man, completely transfixed with the ball. So sometimes he makes some great slide challenges, but that's because his positioning was bad to start with. If as Maldini said, if I have to make a tackle, I've already made a mistake. So his positioning is not good. His positioning is not good at all. I just don't think he's at the level when you give a player $9,000 a week. When you sign a player, give him $9,000 a week. I think that tells you what you think of him. We were in for Skriniar, Diaz, and we just got him. We got him like last day of the window. So I don't want to go into him too hard. I think he's a decent player, but on Sunday in particular, I think he'll choose Sanchez. I think he'll go with Sanchez. I think Conte might get the very best out of Sanchez because we know he's got ability. We know Davinson's got
And
ability.
he's quick
His
as
first
well,
season with us, rapid, absolutely rapid. So, but like Mark, I want to see Tanganga. I adore Tanganga. And if we don't see him, if we don't start seeing him, we've got to loan him out. We have to loan him out. He needs to be getting first team football. He's good enough to get first team football. Where I see his potential, I don't see it in Rodon. So I would like to see Tanganga in, but I think if Romero doesn't play, which I'm sure he won't, I'm pretty sure Sanchez will play.
Yeah. Message from Ryan McFarland, always on the stream as well. How you doing, Ryan? First time since Prime Poch that he's excited for the game. Yeah, I think most Spurs fans would probably agree with that. And Carl Simpson, how you doing, Carl? Rodon, Sanchez, Tanganga, back three for him. Eugin, who would your back three be? And with Lo Celso presumably injured, like Cody says, I mean, that just means that it's Ndombele in there, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think it's either Ndombele or don't be surprised we'll see Winks there too, right? To be part of midfield. For the defense part, of course, Tanganga, Sanchez on the right. My part is that maybe we need to try Rodon on the left. But I'm always very perplexed is that we have Romero as the center of the center back, right? But when Conte came in, he put Dyer as the center of the center backs and put Romero onto the left. Put Romero onto the right.
But we weren't playing three at the back though, were we? So it was just two centre backs, when it was just two centre backs when Nuno was there.
No, I'm saying Conte, not Nuno.
Oh,
Conte.
Right.
Have you not noticed the last two matches against Vitesse and Everton? Romero is not playing centre back. Dyer is.
Yeah.
Romero is playing on the right. So
yeah.
That's one part, you see, and you're not playing Romero in his preferred position. But never mind, Romero is injured. Okay. Dyer will most probably still be holding that centre back position, right? And of course, either Sanchez or Tanganga will take the right, and it's between Davies and Rodon to take the left. So let's see how it goes for that scenario, right? Don't forget that Davies did quite well for Wales. Okay, Rodon as a defender did quite well for Wales too. But like you said, in the midfield, Skippy's injured. Oh, sorry, no, Skippy's suspended. Sorry, guys, suspended. Right. So who else can we put in there? Lo Celso is injured, right?
Well, that's something that Carl says here with Skip and Højbjerg not 100%, although you said Højbjerg's in training, so I'd imagine he'll play. I'd be tempted to put Dyer in midfield. I mean, with Romero out, I don't think that will happen. I think if Romero was playing, you could possibly put Dyer in midfield, but without Romero, you need Dyer at the back, and I'm not sure his turning circle is as quick as it was when he was in midfield before. But yeah, I think with that, I forgot about Skip. So basically for me, that says, like Mark Swift to just beat me to the punch.
Wings.
Conte's already said, Chris, just to say that Conte's already said apparently in a press conference it's between Winks and Ndombele to cover for Skip. So,
well, if Højbjerg's injured, I think both of them. No.
I don't think Højbjerg is.
If Lo Celso's injured, sorry, I think Ndombele replaces him, unless it's Delhi, which I think he's.
We were talking about that yesterday, right?
But Lo Celso didn't start against Everton, did he? So only Skip that's out.
What did Conte say? Winks or Ndombele?
He said Winks or Ndombele.
That means Lo Celso is going to play. Conte gives nothing away in his press conferences. He'll do the opposite. He gives absolutely nothing away. That's what I read
on Twitter this morning. In his press conference, he said we skip out Ndombele or Winks.
I didn't realise Lo Celso was injured. I didn't realise Lo Celso was injured. Bloody hell.
That's if he is injured, like you say. He could just be smoke and mirrors, and you know. Well, Jose's done it before. Ferguson's done it before.
Conte that said it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Conte that apparently said in his press conference that Lo Celso picked up a knock on international duty. Whether it's true.
Ferguson used to do that all the time. So and so isn't playing, and then all of a sudden they score a hat trick in the game.
Yeah, but the difference is, Chris, Fergie wouldn't have let him go to fucking international football either. That's the thing. That's what he used to do as well.
Maybe. Yeah. Bob Spurs' predicted lineup is here. Lloris, Tanganga, Dyer, Davies, Emerson. I think that's fairly standard. Sessegnon. I think Sessegnon could be the new Victor Moses if he can stay fit. I think Conte will love him. Victor Moses started off as a winger, very similar to Sessegnon. He's been played as a left back. Victor Moses, I think he was a left back, played as a left back or left wing back, and are very similar. Winks and Ndombele, Bergwijn, Lucas, Kane. No Son there, Bob. I'm assuming he's either injured or just jet lagged and needs a rest. But yeah, with
he was training. He was training,
yeah.
Son.
And I think non-internationals are in with a good shout to start v Leeds. So that brings us nicely onto Conte's work, Eujin, during the international break. He was obviously working with players for nearish 2 weeks. Obviously, he didn't have some of the international players. He didn't have any of them because they were on international break. But he had a lot of players who are either starting 11 or in contention. So do you think we'll see a bit of a mix in terms of, obviously Kane will start and people like that, and Højbjerg if he's fit, Son if he's fit will probably start. But do you think people like Sessegnon with the shout of starting, or do you think he'll try and go as strong as possible, but those players will be on the bench?
What I think is right, the 10 days or so that the players that didn't go on the international break will be training with Conte, and Conte will know what standard or what ability they have to play the way that Conte wants to play. So if these guys can show that they can do what Conte wants them to do to the correct way, right, they will have a very good chance, because he spent a lot of time with them, one-on-one, doing team trainings and all that. But of course, when the rest of the guys who come back, right, now you say, now we've got Lo Celso injured, we have Romero injured, right? So that leaves out a lot of positions open for the players who weren't on the international break to join the first team. But like I said, for all you know, Conte might have evaluated those who didn't go for the international break as useless. You get what I'm saying, right? Like there's rumors going around. He doesn't like, maybe he doesn't like Ali, right? And maybe Ndombele doesn't fit his plans and all that. But if he's being forced, right, his hand is being forced, I'll be surprised. But guys, don't be surprised, right? You might see some of the youth come in, right? Don't be surprised to see some of the youth come in. If the youth can do what he wants them to do, don't be surprised with that, right? Because don't forget, Makande is training with the first team, right? Lavinia is training with the first team, right? Scarlett, right? I'm not sure whether now John is still there, but some of the guys from the youth are still training with the first team, and when the international guys have gone off, right, to make a larger group of players to play around with. But like I said, don't be surprised there'll be changes, or don't be surprised there'll be no changes, right? But like I said, but there cannot be no changes because Romero is injured, Skippy is suspended, so there will be changes. So let's see who comes in. And then we'll judge from there, right? Like I said, at the moment, it's all up to Conte. We have to put our trust in him, right, and believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, Carl Simpson has said, looking at the Spurs Leeds training sessions, they all seem to be enjoying it and look so much fitter. In terms of enjoying it, it's Spurs Leeds training sessions. They're only going to release photos that they look like they're enjoying it. They're not going to show a fight or anything like that. But they're so much fitter. I would expect that to be happening, being that he's brought in 3 fitness coaches. But Tommy, in terms of the lineup, I'll put Bob Spurs back on.
That worries me. This lineup worries me. That's Bob's put out here.
Bob Spur or his lineup?
The lineup he's put out here worries me going into the Leeds game. It really does, to be honest with you.
What parts worry you? What would you change?
Is Reggie? Is there something wrong with Reggie? I don't think there's anything wrong
Reggie
with
was training.
I definitely wouldn't put Sessegnon in front of Reggie. But knowing Bob, I don't think he's a Reggie fan. So I think that may have something to do with it. Bergwijn, I think you mentioned Sessegnon could be the Moses. I think Bergwijn could be the Moses. He's same build as well. Very similar build. Not a great end product, but a real work rate to him. I think Bergwijn. The problem is we've already got Doherty there and Emerson Royal. But Conte won't care. If Emerson Royal's not up to it or Doherty's not up to it, if Emerson Royal, he's £30 million. If he's not up to it, Conte will move him on. It's as simple as that. He doesn't mess about. So, but Bergwijn can play there. Bergwijn can play left wing back as well. So I can see him playing backup for Reggie if worse comes to worse. Because Sessegnon is consistently injured. He's never started a league game. He's like Jack Clark. He's never started a league game for us.
It's a real shame because I really like Sessegnon. He's rapid. He's direct. He certainly was at Fulham. Rapid, direct, a fairly good loan spell at It's Hoffenheim, wasn't it?
Hoffenheim. He was playing left wing back there as well, to be fair. So that will probably serve him well. What I will say is, if you remember the second fixture against Leeds last season, we lost 3-1, but we were dominated against because we were on the back foot from the very first minute. If we do play like a Winks and Ndombele, then it's a much more attacking centre mid. It could serve us well. If you sit back against Leeds, you're in trouble. It will force us to go forward. That's what worries Leeds. So having Ndombele in there instead of a Højbjerg skip it could work. It could work in our favour. So I would have Bob's. I'll probably have Bob's starting 11. In fact, Davis at left centre back. I think he's going to play there. I think he works in a back three. He really does. Same with Ramiro. But yeah, I'd put Reggie in. Yeah, I love Tanganga, so I'd put Reggie in there. And that's not too bad. I think Son will be fit. I hope Son will be fit. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good team from Bob. Just Sessegnon, I wouldn't agree with there.
And Carla said Stevie B likes Sessegnon, need to stay fit as they both have lots to offer. I'd back Bergwijn to stay fit over Sessegnon, but I think Sessegnon is superb and young and English and direct, like I say. Also, THFC Kirst, big up guys, top panel. How you doing? Thanks for watching. If you want the link, give me a shout. I can send that over. But Mark, Bob's lineup here. No one's mentioning Doherty. We talk about Kane with.
No one mentioned Doherty. You're right.
Let me finish. we talk about Kane's confidence, but Doherty had an absolutely superb game against Portugal. Kept Ronaldo quiet. He is a wing back by trade. That's how he made his name at Wolves, whereas under Jose Nuno he was playing as fullback, and not really surprising to see that it didn't kind of work out. Do you think he could flourish under Conte, or do you think, like so many other players like Dele, there's too many people in front of him now and he needs to make a statement when he gets in, but when he will get in is another question?
I don't think it's fair to write anyone off, to be honest with you. As you say, he did mainly play at Wolves. Well, all the time he played at Wolves as a right wing back and looked very good. In his first season in the Premiership with them, was it second most assists after Alexander-Arnold? He did play one or two times as wing back under Jose. I remember it, and he still looked shit. And his crossing was terrible, and nothing you'd expect from a wing back. But I suppose he needs to play consistently to actually judge him or not at that position. So I wouldn't write him off. Same with Sessegnon. I know we say he's injury prone, but he's played over 100 games for Fulham, and only 21 years of age, and he's played over 100 games for Fulham. And as you say, he's done well in the Bundesliga as well as a wing back. So I don't think he'll play on Sunday, but I think he could benefit the most out of Conte coming in. I definitely wouldn't be ruling out Doherty, but I can't see it happening, to be honest with you. He has been atrocious, one of the worst signings I've seen in years, to be honest. And I was excited about him coming in because I thought,
It's not all his fault, though, is it? Like, if you're a striker and then you get played as a defender, you're not going to, Yeah, and people say right back and wing back, they're very similar, but they're kind of not really. So even though he hasn't helped himself with his performances and stuff like that, he is trying to learn a completely new position, and so I do have some sympathy for him, but I do understand that
it's not all his
shouldn't be in the team based on
make simple passes, whether you're at left back or at left wing back. You can still do the simple stuff, and he doesn't even do the simple stuff well. Saying that, I see him got hammered against Everton when he come on as a left wing back, and I was on that side. I was in the ground, and I was on the side where he was. I don't think he looked terrible to me.
That's when he played, I think, against Ronaldo, and then absolutely kept him.
I didn't watch
it.
He's been playing left wing back for the previous international break. Talking to Aaron and some of the Irish fans, I think he got 2 Man of the Match awards in both their games, playing left wing back. So yeah, it's madness.
I don't think he looked terrible when he come on against him. I see people, as I say, absolutely hammering him, but I thought he didn't look too bad. But I definitely wouldn't write him off. And I always say when a new manager comes in, everyone gets a clean slate for me, to be honest with you, and especially with Conte because he does improve players. So. Listen, I hope it comes good for him, and we've got a fantastic right wing back there. Yes, hope so, but I don't see it. But yes, wait and see.
No. And just before we move off of the defence, I apologise, Eugene and Tommy. You're basically going to repeat what you said on Tommy's stream yesterday. This was broken to me on Tommy's stream with Laurie. So there's a links to the MLS. I said at the time when Tommy asked me on his stream yesterday, I think that says that we're getting a new goalkeeper. Loris won't be the number one, or certainly won't be the guaranteed number one. Yeah, Eugene, you said what you think on Tommy's stream, but mind repeating it? What you think, or has your opinion changed overnight?
No, I mean, if Loris wants to go, we'll let him go, right? We should let him go, right? I've been saying before, players don't want to stay, don't keep them there because the heart won't be there, right? Performance will drop, and concentration, focus will drop, and especially if you're a goalkeeper, you can't let that happen, right? For his replacement, I don't know, Martinez, Henderson, right? Pope. There are a few out there, but of course, if we do get a British-based player, then it'll be better, for the homegrown status and all that. But let's see how it goes. For the time being, he's still here, right? We wish him the best, and if he does go, we'll wish him the best too, right? Wish him the best.
Yeah. Tommy, I know you said what you think. Nick Pope.
To be fair, I was a host, so I didn't say a great deal. So
well, you said if he does go, Nick Pope is who you want in. Do you think he will go? Was he now 34? Is he, Lois?
I think he's 34.
Like
I think he's 34. Somebody told me he's still young for a keeper. Well, that's rubbish, isn't it? I know keepers last long, but he's not young, is he? I mean, let's face it, he's not young.
I mean, Neville Southall and Steven Grizovic were just too exceptional.
Tommy, but unless you compare it to Buffon, right?
Yeah, Buffon, and that's madness. And I mean, you got strikers that are lasting that long now. Ibrahimovic is nearly 41. I couldn't believe that, like nearly 41. It's insane. So players can go on a little bit longer, but Lloris is not young. Let's face it, he's not young for you people saying this. I think what it is, he hasn't been offered a new contract. So your eyes are gonna look somewhere else. Of course they are. He's had 150 caps for France. He's gonna be looking elsewhere right now. I always thought he was gonna go back to France, and that could very well be the case. There will be takers. Anywhere there will be takers. He's probably up for the LA Sun. I'll be surprised if he doesn't go to LA Galaxy. If he goes to the States, all the big players, the big internationals go to LA Galaxy. So go there for a year or two. Yeah, man. Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane was outstanding in the MLS, like amazing goal scoring record. So I can see it happening. But and as you said, my choice, if he does go, would be Nick Pope, hands down. I just think he's an unbelievable shot stopper. I think his contract runs out end of next season. So it's summer, he'll only have a year left. So it could, something could happen. Something could happen there. But I know Martinez. I know a lot of people fancy Martinez as well. But I want him to stay. I would love Lloris to stay. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. And we can't blame him for looking at other clubs. As you say, he hasn't been offered the contract.
Yeah, just a message from Carl Simpson. We actually talked about this about half hour ago. After a great international break, you're expecting Kane to take that into the Leeds game and ignite his season. I think we were kind of all saying yes, but yeah, we mentioned that about half hour ago at the beginning of the stream. So you can get our thoughts on that there. But Mark, with Lloris, do you think A, he'll go? B, who do you think Galini will be number one, or do you think we'll get someone in? And C, if we do get someone in, who? Because for me, it would be Henderson or Pope. I don't think Henderson will go because I think they don't want him going, so they'll get rid of De Gea before they get rid of Henderson. But Pope, for me, I think fantastic goalkeeper, deserves his move to a big club. But yeah, those three questions. What are your thoughts?
A, I don't think he'll go. So that stops all the other questions, but I'll carry on.
So you think these are just rumours, just to?
I think he'll sign a new contract, and I hope that he does. I really hope that he does. I don't want him to go. What was B?
Galini.
Do you think it could be Galini who's number one?
You can move quickly there. No, Galini's not good enough for number one for me. And C, who would I like if Lloris was to go?
You can answer that one because eventually, at some point, Lloris will go.
Yeah, I don't want him to be number one. I don't want Galini as a number one keeper. I don't think he's good enough to be a number one keeper. So I ain't seen much of him anyway. But what I have seen of him, I haven't been that impressed with. And I just remember, I've said it again, I've said it on Tommy's stream. I remember when he come in and I listened to what Villa fans were saying, and he's like 6'4" and he can't come for crosses. So for me, no, I don't want him. I don't want to see him as a number one. And if you look at,
Galini.
yeah, Galini, if you look at the stats from him at Serie A, that would back that up as well. He was one of the worst for coming to get the ball, and he's bloody massive. So not for me. I think he's a great number 2. Don't get me wrong. If we can keep him as a backup, I think you ain't going to get much better as a backup. He's a good keeper, but he isn't good enough for number 1 for me. From what I've seen, I've not seen enough. Who would I like as a replacement? I'd love to see Henderson at Man United. I thought when he was at Sheffield United, he was fantastic. I do like Pope as well. I suppose it comes down to what Conte wants from a keeper. I don't know enough about what his keeper was like at Inter. I don't watch a lot of Serie A. Does he need to be good with his feet? Would Pope be good enough with his feet? Again, I don't know. So I do like Pope, but I personally, I prefer Henderson. I think Henderson.
And Bob isn't on the stream, but he's running the stream now. Quick talk about the Poch reports before I go into a meeting. Look at the stream, you all look so beautiful. So without further ado, The Athletic printed a comment. I think Eujin told us about this before we went on air, that he's coming back after 18 months after Conte's contract ends. And that's pretty much what I've been saying from when Nuno came in with 2 years left and Pochettino had 2 years left, and now Conte with 18 months and Poch has 18 months. But Eugene, I'm assuming I'm going to be the minority on this stream in believing that. But Eugene, thoughts on that?
I don't understand why the media.
Or do you think it's again just something for the Athletic?
No, that's it. No, I don't understand why the media always does this, right? When Conte is there, right? If you put out something like that, aren't you undermining the manager again, right? So that means, are there signs of cracks going on between, the board and Conte? Because don't forget,
it could be that Conte said, "I just want an 18 months, and then I'm going to go somewhere else." So
we do not know. We do not know that, right? Because if we do that, what's the point of bringing Conte in there, right? If we bring Conte, we back him, we at least have a chance to win the league, right? If you bring back Poch, right? Poch is, to tell the truth, he's struggling in PSG. We all see it, right? He can't handle the big players, okay? And if you bring back Poch, bring in Poch again, right? Don't you tell me we're going to go into another 5-year rebuild again, right? I don't want that. And with Levy there, I don't want Poch to come back because Levy is going to do what he's going to do to Poch again. That's a simple thing. That's how I see it. But why? Why does the media always put out news like that? Because once you start undermining Conte, the cracks are showing again. Then if Conte doesn't get his players in January, if he walks out in February, so is Poch coming back? Or what are we going to do? Are we going to get Mason for another 18 months? Come on, guys. Please. I'd rather focus on Conte, right? Force the owners to back Conte. And if Conte gets us a cup this season, all right, or 2, right, and next season we go on a run for the league and get a cup or 2, right, the fans will want the owners to back Conte. At least we're going for the league, right? I still don't understand the Spurs fans' mentalities like this. Why are we so obsessed with top 4, right? We should not be obsessed with top 4. We should be obsessed with number 1. If we are obsessed with number 1, right, top 4 will come automatically, right? That's what Conte is brought in to do, guys, right? Please, the Poch is a dream, right? Maybe not for now, okay? Maybe for later, another 5 years' time, 10 years' time down the road. I'll be happy if Conte gives us the trophies, gives us the glory again, and he stays for 10 years, right? Then maybe Poch comes in after that, you see? But I don't know. We are so sentimental, right? And we've been programmed to be like that, to be sentimental and all these things, right? And our ambitions are so low, too low as fans, too low.
Yeah, a couple of comments from Carl. Back to the goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, if Loris leaves for me, like you said, Conte we must trust. And it's the media who love to spend their time putting crappy reports about Spurs again. Conte wins things with us. He'll want to extend his contract. But I imagine, Tommy, the reports have come through because Conte is not one historically for staying at a club long term. So I imagine that's basically part of the
narrative
reasoning there. But like I've said, I think Poch will be back in 18 months. I've got no basis for that. It's just something that I think could happen. But again, it's very strange timing to put that in. He's been in less than a month. But I mean, do you think there's any truth to it? Do you think it's just like Carl says there, just putting crappy reports out and just trying to sell papers or whatever the Athletic is, magazine or whatever? Or do you see there could be truth to it? And because Conte doesn't stay long term, does he? So I imagine that's the reason why they've said it. Like he won't stay long term, so Poch will come back in 18 months.
I just think it's impossible. It's impossible to think 18 months ahead. Like how, I mean, you're predicting the future. I mean, how I just don't understand. And forget all that a minute. Pochettino left on unbelievably bad terms. Unbelievably bad terms. Apparently him and Levy were friends. They went on holiday together and he got rid of him. He didn't back him up in the transfer window and he moved him on. Why would Poch return to the scene of a crime? You don't return to the scene of a crime. Everybody knows that. So
he did say he'd be back though to finish his project. Though
he said that within the first 2 weeks of leaving. He said that within the first 2 weeks of leaving. Obviously, he was still very much attached to the squad. Sentiment is a great word that Eugene's brought up. It's a lot of sentiment involved there. Sentiment with Pochettino 2 weeks after, he had a very good connection with that team. So he's going to say something like that. And of course, as fans, we've got sentiment because Pochettino's a manager. He's just a better manager. His CV is ridiculous. Pochettino never won anything. He never won anything with Southampton, Espanyol, us. Just didn't win anything. So Conte's won 5 league titles at the last 7 seasons as a club manager. This guy is a winner. We shouldn't be talking about any other manager. We've got the best. So yeah, it's just not relevant. It's just not relevant for me. And it seems like whenever PSG lose a game, it's Pochettino might be available. Pochettino might be available. Oh, why do we want someone available that's doing bad? Like it's just it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But just believe in Conte because we've got the best manager. I think he's top 3 definitely in the world. So let's just get behind him.
Yeah, Bob says, as I said to Mark this morning, I'm less surprised by the reports, more the unbelievable reaction by fans. And Mark, I'm assuming that's the like Eugene says and Tommy says, the sentiment. And I mean, Pochettino took us, or certainly for me, to like, oh God, it's Tottenham again. To I love watching Tottenham now, and we can do something special. So it's obviously, and he's responsible, along with Lucas Moore, for the best moment in my Spurs supporting life by a country mile.
True.
Yeah, and Ryan said here, I honestly pray Levy and Enoch back Conte. If they do, he'll stay for 3-4 years. He will have us challenging. Adam says Poch is in the past. But what do you make of the report? So do you think there's any truth to the rumours that we were after Poch in the summer and that it was quite close to happening? Or do you think that's, again, just Sky and all the media outlets just trying to make a story out of nothing?
I do probably think that there was some talks in the summer because I don't think he is that happy at PSG, to be honest with you. And he was definitely happy at Tottenham, wasn't he? But the form totally dipped at the end. There was something going on behind the scenes. There was rumours that he weren't taking training anymore. There was all kinds of stuff going on. I absolutely love the guy. I was saying to yourself and Eugene, off air, that I don't think Conte's a better manager, right? Conte is a better manager. He's got a CV that backs it up. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, that Conte could have done the job that Poch did with the resources that Poch had. I think that was unique, and I will forever love the man for what he did and the joy that he brought me. I know he didn't win anything, but he saw, for me as a fan, he did things that I never thought that I would see. Get into a Champions League final. I know we didn't win it. I get all that, but to do that was amazing. To go to Stamford Bridge, we hadn't won there for however many years. Being in the crowd when we beat Man United 3-0 at Old Trafford. These are things that I'd supported Tottenham for 30 odd years and I hadn't seen. So, I've forever loved the man, but we've got one of the best managers in the world. Why is this even talk? Why are the Athletic even writing this bullshit article? Why would any fan want him back at the minute? I don't understand, if there is anyone out there, it's not the time. Yes, get behind this project. We've got a fantastic manager who needs backing. This is what we should be worrying about, not about Pochettino. He'll win the league at PSG this season. He'll probably go to Man United because I think Solskjaer will be off. If he don't win the Champions League, he'll probably get the boot from PSG. That's why I think he'll end up. I
don't personally think he'll manage another Premier League team.
I think he will.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And what is worth pointing out, I think, is that what Pochettino did, he's a builder rather than, and Conte's a winner in my mind. He's very similar to, keep calling him Graham Potter. But Pochettino is
Phoenix Nights. What a show! What a brilliant show!
Yeah, but Pochettino and what he did is a big reason why we're able to attract managers now like Mourinho and like Conte. Before Pochettino came in, people like Conte and Mourinho just laughed if Levy approached them. So however it ended and however he's doing at PSG, his contribution should never, ever be forgotten because he did take us to that next level. There's other people as well who were involved in that as well, but Pochettino was a big part of that. But yeah, Carl has said, like Tommy said, 100% Conte is a different level altogether.
Should I read Bob's text? Because I know he's in the thing and he probably, he wants to.
He's got to go into a meeting, innit? Sorry, Barry, we'll come to that in a sec.
Yeah, so unbelievable story, obviously, about the Athletic. Have to say, unbelievable reaction too. I love Poch, but no way wanting him back if he fails at PSG. Even if he wins everything, I couldn't give 2 flying Fs. I'll try not to swear, Chris, on your thing. It's early, isn't it?
All right, mate. 10 minutes is well and truly gone.
Yeah, I know. Conte is probably the best signing the club has made since Enick have been here. How successful he would be is down to the backing. Why the fuck are we talking about Poch being some form of messiah who's going to take us on in 2 years when we've got a born fucking winner at the helm? Baffled by some of the backwards thinking of the fans. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but guys, I just have something to say about this, right? This could be the starting of the Levy smoke and mirrors again, right? His PR machine is running again, you see. Most probably
that's
Levy's
exactly
planning...
what Barry says there, so I'll put that on the screen. Poch will be Levy's smoke and mirrors if Conte doesn't get back.
Yeah, you know why? Most probably this is the first step that what Levy does is, right, to give you something to bite on when Conte walks out the door. Watch it. Yeah,
well, it is possible, isn't it? Because with Poch, with Jose, with Nuno, when Levy said no, it's like, okay, fine. Whereas Conte, I think, is a different animal. If Levy says no and breaks any promises that must have been made in the contract, Conte will just go, fuck you then, I'm off, I'll go somewhere else. People want me, I win things. But yeah,
that's another reason for the 18 months, though, isn't it? It's only 18 months, so he's not locked in.
Guys,
he could be there for 3 years. He could have 3 or 4 years if Levy backs him up.
I read somewhere, right? Manchester United approached Conte, and the why Manchester United didn't take Conte is because, right, Conte demanded a £250 million kitty for him to use. That's why they backed down, right? So now Conte is with us, right? Do you think Conte has put the same kind of pressure onto Levy?
I don't think it's all about money. I don't think it's all about money with Conte. I think it's. We said it yesterday. It will go for some weird players that you wouldn't imagine he'd go for without sell-on value. They won't have sell-on value. They might be 31, 32, and that doesn't fit into Levy's mantra. But if it works and it brings us success, gets us back into the top 4 and challenging for titles and maybe a domestic trophy, then who cares?
Yeah, that's it. It's not about the money. It's about I want this player and I don't want A, B, C, or fucking D. I want that player, not your 3rd or 4th choice, which Levy does. I want Sadio Mane. Here's Nkudu. Here's Clinton NG. No, I want Sadio Mane.
But do you think that will change though with Conte? Like I say, we'll probably walk. And there's rumours that in terms of to be able to comply with FFP, which I mean FFP is dead after Man City got away with whatever they got away with.
But guys,
do you think it will change? Being that apparently we can spend 400 million and still be within FFP. We've got Conte, like you say, Mark. I want this player, not A, B, C, or D. I want A.
Chris. Everyone said it. It has to change because he'll walk. It's as simple as that. If it doesn't change, he's gone. Then Levy has to go.
Hold on. That's why it's an 18-month contract. if he walks during that 1 year, right, you pay less compensation.
We're
Don't-
already
The
don't
only
forget-
way, the
Don't-
only
don't forget-
way,
Don't forget, we have paid 85.9 million pounds in managerial compensations in the last 7-8 years, right? That's ridiculous.
the only way Conte stays if he's not backed is if he's there for the money. If he is there as a mercenary, like Jose was.
I
Jose
don't
was a
think he is.
mercenary.
But
I don't
Conte's
think
not
he
like
is.
that.
No.
We don't think he is, but money talks. So
He
for
would have
me,
stayed at Inter though, Tommy. He would have stayed at Inter if that was the
Yeah.
change, you know?
yeah, but people change. No, my point is only this: if he stays beyond January and he isn't back, then it has to be for that reason. It has to be
Yeah,
for
it
the
has
fact.
to be because
Because I
everything
don't
else
see-
tells you he will
No,
walk.
no,
so-
no. Guys,
Exactly.
hold
I
on,
don't
hold
think
on.
he's like that either. I
No,
think he's got morals and
if he's not-
principles. But
No, if he doesn't get backed in January, right, he might give Levy one more chance. There's a summer window coming. Because
well, that
he-
might be
so-
part of the agreement. That might be part.
Yeah.
Wait till summer,
That-
and then
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see how.
that could be part of it.
I,
Because
I,
don't
I
forget,
think January. I think January will be a few players in, and then summer will be right. Let's go for the league here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that he's come in like 10 games or 12 games before. I mean, 10 games before the after the season started, right? So basically, what Conte feels now, right, that this team is not his team, right? If it was him, right, he most probably say, "I want all 26 players change," or maybe we keep Kane and Son, or maybe Højbjerg, or one or two, right? But we do not know. But the thing is that if he has taken an 18-month contract, how I see it is, right, it minimizes Levy's compensation if he walks or if he gets sacked, you see. But if Conte walks, right, usually don't get compensated. You know, you resign, right? If you get sacked, you get compensated, correct? So let's see how it goes. If he doesn't get back in January, then we'll wait for the summer and see if he gets backed or not, right? Then we'll know, right? Like I said, this Conte thing has always been more or less a wait and see game,
A couple of comments being on Poch, Ryan McFarlane said too many egos at PSG, which I think that's possibly right. You get players who are like being a big fish in a small pond. I think you get that with managers as well. And I love this from Adam. If we were to take a shot every time Spurs were linked with Poch, we'd be dead from alcohol poisoning. It does seem
Very
to be
true,
all
very
the
true.
time. And Bob has asked, don't you guys think Poch at Man United has a certain fit to it? I think on paper, but I think he'd be undermined at Man United. Gone are the days where Ferguson ran that club and then the players that he wanted were the players that he got. And if he said he wanted something, that's what he got. We've seen with...
Home from him then, isn't it, with Levy?
Well, he doesn't want that again, but... yeah, and Carl has agreed. He thinks it will happen at some point this season. I still don't think he'll go to another Premiership club. I think he's got such an affiliation with our club and the fans, and the fact that he said he'd be back. Maybe that's just me being sentimental.
Man United.
Maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe I'm part of the problem that
Chris, you remember you were talking about the money, right? You give him enough money, he'll be there.
The Man United fans. Do you know El Sakiko? I talk to a lot. Well, they're the most supported club in the world. So when you do neutral streams, Man United, there'll be a fan part of it. And when I talk to Man United fans, they didn't want Conte. A lot of them did not want Conte because he is a defensive manager. He is a defensive manager in many ways. He's not as pragmatic as Mourinho, or well, certainly nobody's as pragmatic as Nuno was the first 3 or 4 months. But he is pragmatic, and this is something I want to get to fans. I'm not trying to be a smart ass, but if you're expecting Conte to play this amazing, explosive style of football, you're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it. There will be that at times, but the wing backs alone, but it will be a structured team. It will be very much a structured team. And Man United the fans didn't want that. They had that with Louis van Gaal, obviously Solskjaer now. So Solskjaer is a little bit more free flowing, but he's just not got what it takes to win the league.
Mate. If you listen to United fans, they prefer Van Gaal and Mourinho to the way Solskjaer plays football.
There you go.
There you go.
I miss Mourinho. I miss Mourinho between Van Gaal and Solskjaer. I mean, yeah. So they want someone on the front foot. So they would prefer Pochettino. If they were both unattached, Man United fans, by what I'm hearing, would prefer Pochettino.
Yeah.
Just 16 people watching, only 11 likes. That doesn't tally up somewhere. So hit those likes, hit those subscribes. Mark, I know you've got to go. Just before you go, Raw Emotion, that the link for that is in the description. I know you don't like plugging that, so but before the game on Sunday, you and Mac, also your partner on Raw Emotion, you were at an event before the game.
Yeah, so we're running a bar. Mickey Hazard and Graham Roberts will be there. Mark Falcao and Paul Miller. Opens at 11. £4 a pint. Kids' drinks are cheaper, obviously. Not free drinks, Eugene, for kids. Come along. Great to see you all.
Good marketing ploy. It's a good marketing ploy.
Mark's Twitter handle is in the description as well, so you find all the information there. I retweeted it as well this morning, so you can find all the information there as well. So yeah, go check that out. It's free to go in and listen to some Spurs legends. I mean, before you get disappointed potentially before the game. What more do you want?
Yeah, free to get in. You don't need to book. I know on Graham Roberts and Mickey Hazard's thing, they're saying you don't need to book. You can just come in. It's not a problem. It's free to get in.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Usually you have to pay for like Q&A and stuff like that. So £4 a pint, £4 a pint. Amazing.
Well, exactly. And they'll be talking about the game. They'll be talking about old stuff from the 80s and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically a Legends night for free before a game with cheap beer. So why wouldn't you come?
Yeah, absolutely. Get yourself there. Yeah. Like I say, the information's on Mark's Twitter, which is in the description. Also, go onto my Twitter and you'll see the retweet there. But yeah, cheers, Mark. Great to have you on. As always, welcome anytime. Yep. And yeah, hope you enjoy the game and the event on Sunday.
Have a good event on Sunday.
3-1 Spurs, by the way, guys. It's 3-1 Spurs.
All right. We'll get on to Eugene and Tom's predictions. Yeah, cheers, Mark. Right, so... Bob has obviously been watching Conte's press conference. Romero and Lo Celso missed the game, so we come on to the game again, Eugene. Is it going to be an all-out attacking game, do you think? Obviously, Lo Celso, I think, will be replaced by Ndombele, and then we've already discussed who we think Romero will be replaced by. There's a few people there. But do you think it'll be an all-out attacking game? Like we said, Bielsa and Leeds only know one way, and they are kind of open. Like Tommy said, Conte is not the kind of 100-mile-an-hour Fergie kind of play. But do you think he'll be saying to them, go out and attack because they're there for the taking from the start? Or do you think it'll be we're still waiting after 45 minutes for our first shot on target in about a month?
Guys, we'll be at home, right? So the fans will be there. Whenever you play at home, there's a different kind of pressure that the players have to perform. All right, and I'm very sure that the team knows what kind of style of play that we want them to play. Right. So being attacking to a certain extent, how attacking we are, we going all out to attack them and all that. But don't forget, Leeds goes in the opposite direction too. They go all out and attack. For all you know, Conte might play a smart game. Right. What Mourinho did last year is sit back, absorb it, right, and hit them on a counter. Since they're weak in the defense, maybe we'll get better results that way. But don't forget, during Vitesse, the first half an hour, we went all-out attack. We got 3 goals, right? But once we started to sit back, right, what happened? We conceded goals, right? So our defense is still quite shaky. And, of course, during the Everton game, we did try to attack. We were more fluid, more one-touch passes. We looked better, right? But we still have to keep in mind, a lot of the players are just back from the international break, right? There's some kind of gap there. So it depends on what kind of team Conte is going to put out. We do not know. We can only speculate. We can only guess. Until the day the team sheet comes out, then we will know who's playing and more or less what kind of style we're going to have. Not only Romero and Lo Celso is out injured. Don't forget Skip is suspended, right? What's going to happen in the midfield? We do not know yet. Right? Are we going to put in Wings? Are we going to put in Ndombele? Are we going to have, Dele Alli on the pitch? We still do not know. But like I said, Conte has a time with the boys, right, that didn't go on the international break, that stayed back, train with him. Don't be surprised with the lineup. We might even see some youngsters in it, or some of the youngsters might come off the bench. We will never know. But attack, of course I want them to attack, right? Do have shots on goal? Of course, I want them to have shots on goal.
We've got to have a shot on goal at some point in this season.
Yeah. If we don't have a shot on goal, in this season we'll be relegated.
But to be fair, but to be fair, Lo Celso, that should count as on target. Hit the post. That's the target. It used to be.
The post is not the target.
You've had plenty that work that got
Well, if you
blocked.
hit the inside
Don't
post,
count.
it's in.
No,
If you hit the inside post,
Yeah,
it's in.
if you hit the inside the post, if it's in, it's in. You understand?
That is the target, though. Surely that is
No,
the
post
target.
post is not the target, right? The empty space between the posts is the target. But no,
Yeah,
if Pickford touched the ball, then it would be on target. You get
Of
what I'm saying?
course,
Pickford
but
didn't
for
touch the
me,
ball, right?
The other thing is there
was
was
very
so
nearly
many
a goal.
block shots. There were so many block shots. Region
Yeah.
had one which was blocked by a defender, but if the goalkeeper blocks it, it then gets counted. But
Counter is on target. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I
but
understand.
Royals header should have hit the target. Reggie's
yeah,
effort from
volley.
Kane's cross. Ben Davies nearly smashed it. And do you remember Ben Davies' shot? That's we had 4 chances. We just gone through Lo Celso. Ben Davies was the other one, and 2 wing backs. So 3 of our best chances were from defenders. That's what Conte's going to do. It's going to be different, but we're gonna score at least a couple.
And then Eugin, I'll ask you the cowardly question I always ask because I don't give predictions. I can't. But your predictions for the game in terms of scoreline or who wins?
Like I said yesterday on Tommy's show, 3 or 4-2, we win.
And how many will Kane get of those? Do you think?
I hope he gets a brace. Yeah, he deserves it at last. At least that. But he must get the service first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of comments from Adam. Our defence will be even more shaky that Romero's injured. Time for Rodon. We discussed who will come in for Romero earlier in the stream. Again, like Eugene says, it's kind of a lottery, isn't it? And we don't know what Conte's going to do. We don't know what he's worked on with the players that aren't international. Carl Simpson has said 4-1. Kane is turning up 4-1. Kane with 2. As long as we can get him scoring again. But Tommy, do you think it's going to be an all-out attacking game? Both teams, Leeds will attack. Do you think we'll attack in kind, or do you think we'll be a bit more subdued and see how the game goes? Or do you think Conte will say, get at these early doors? And what were your predictions for the game?
Well,
Craig has said, I can see Conte playing it safe and just go light for light with Winks in for Skip and Sanchez for Romero. What were your kind of thoughts?
I think Carl Simpson, not his latest message, but the message before sums it up. I think playing Leeds will suit up with their high attacking line, attacking football. We can pick them off. I think exactly that.
No, I didn't see that comment. Apologies, Carl.
Exactly that.
Tommy's my admin here.
But no, I read it a few minutes ago, and that's how it is to me. They only know how to play one way. So we have to look. We're not going to go all out attacking. Answering your question, we're not going to go all out attacking under Conte, but it could seem that way. If we get the first go, if we get the first go, then we could open the floodgates. I'm sure we will. And so Eugene's prediction, 3 goals or 4 goals, is not off. Is not too far off. But I'd say I got a funny feeling it's going to be 2-0 or 2-1. The international break would have done them well as well, Leeds. They got a lot of injuries. I don't think Bamford's coming back. I don't think Alien's coming back. But, those players, he really
They've
gets
still got Rafinha, haven't they, who you need to pay him attention.
Rodrigo's very good. Rodrigo's very good.
Rafinha and Rodrigo went to Brazil, right? Were they called up?
He might have picked up a knock. He definitely picked up a knock, I heard. I think he will be fit. Talking to Jinder yesterday, it was on my channel. He was pretty sure that Rafinha would be fit, and that's a big one. If they're missing Rafinha, I know he's assisting, he's scoring their only goals. Because as I said, they got Daniel James. They're playing. He
scored a brilliant goal against was it Norwich? He scored Rafinha.
I want him.
Lovely feet and.
I want him. I want Rafinha. If we play 3-4-3, I want Ismail Sarr or Rafinha. That's in a way I'm hoping Leeds get relegated just so we can nick Rafinha. Same with Watford. If they get relegated, maybe we can get Ismail Sarr. But yeah, prediction 2-0 or 2-1. I'd say 2-1. If I was a betting man, I'd say 2-1.
Yeah, I think most fans would think that we're going to score goals here just because of how Leeds are open. But again, it depends on how open we are, and but there were definite improvements in that defensive structure and everything against Everton. Certainly when the penalty appeal came in previously, we've been under the cosh, and that's when we can see goal and we get deeper and deeper and deeper and encourage them on. But we got rid of that. We got through that against Everton and then had chances ourselves with the Lo Celso shot against the post. So I think there's definite improvement there. But in terms of going forward, if we can't get a shot on target against Leeds, I give up. I think that'll be the most of the fans in the stadium and watching at home as well. But we can definitely win this. We've just got to be careful not to get picked off and have a plan because to go against Leeds. But you talked, Tommy, about Conte not giving anything away. But with Leeds, how they play, everything is out there to be seen. They only play one way, and you can see how they play. You know they're going to play like that. So if we can counter that, get Kane on the ball in the box, Son as well if he plays, we can definitely get some goals here.
True.
But yeah, hopefully we can get a win and kind of kickstart our season again. It's certainly under Conte. It's obviously stalled with how it was with Nuno. Then we get a new manager in. But yeah, hopefully kickstart our season. But yeah, we've pretty much come to the end of the show. There's not really much else we can talk about. It's always great doing a Spurs podcast or stream anywhere because you get things like The Athletic, which extra stuff to talk about rather than just a preview or a review. But yeah, thanks to Mark who's on earlier. Thanks to everybody adding stuff in the channel. Certainly being that it's during the morning when people are at work and not during the normal lunchtime. So I appreciate everyone watching and adding comments in. Appreciate Eugene and Tommy and Mark all coming on and giving up their time to talk about Spurs, Leeds and everything else. Eugene, before you go, Spurs Eujin TV. It's the link's in the description anyway. But if people want to know a bit about it, where can they find it? And tell us a bit about your channel.
Okay, Spurs Eujin TV. You can find it on YouTube, right? I do a Asian Spurs show normally on Sunday, so 1 p.m. GMT, right? This Sunday won't be a crazy stream. We'll be just doing the normal show, pre-show, Saturday review, and all that, and just wait for about the lineups to come out. Then we'll talk a bit about it. Then we'll end the show, right? And on Wednesdays, I do have the midweek show, right? That comes on about 2 p.m. GMT or 3 p.m. GMT, depending on the timing nowadays. Right, guys, and don't forget, guys, thank you, Chris, for having me on. Don't forget to subscribe and like on Chris' channels too, and of course on Tommy's. TTB, I can't say that word too much. I'll say it wrongly.
Balls,
TTB,
comes
right?
Comes out balls
and of course, don't forget, hit a like, hit a subscribe, right, and the notification bell, and whatever you help the algorithm or the AI to do.
And Tommy Talks Ball TTB. People who don't know where to find that, where can they find that? And tell us a bit about your channel.
Yes, that's my Twitter handle there at the bottom, Tommy Talks Ball. So that's my Twitter and my YouTube channel. You're on that a lot, Chris. And you just yesterday. Yeah, just yesterday we done a sort of similar preview, but many different questions than what you asked today. And I had a Leeds fan on there as well. So if you fancy watching that, the first half an hour is it was quite an interesting stream. But first and foremost, a lot of people watching today. We need to get Chris up to 150 subscribers. If you're watching this, you must have enjoyed it. We're getting a lot of good messages. It was a really good stream. So you got a sub. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like, and watch previous videos as well because he's every Monday and Friday is fantastic content on this channel. So and if you fancy watching my preview, maybe tomorrow before the Leeds game or even Sunday before the Leeds game, it's quite interesting having a Leeds fan on there. Quite decent insights from him, and he was a good guy, Jinder. So thanks for having me. It's the early morning one. This is probably the earliest in terms of early. Like, don't get me wrong, I've done streams 2 or 3 in the morning, but I mean just general when you wake up early morning. This is one of the earliest. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for having me.
It's had more people watching it than any other stream, but I can't keep doing it at 10:30 because I'll be at work to pick some off today and going out for lunch. Great having you guys on, Mark as well. And hit the like, hit the subscribe. Nearly on 150 now, like Tommy said. I forgot to mention that, but I did say Tommy's my admin on here. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, get me up to 150, and then go into the description, find Eugene, Tommy, Mark's channels. Hit the follow them on Twitter, hit the subscribe on their channels and watch their videos. Mark, it's not video, it's podcast, so listen to his podcast. And go on Mark's Twitter handle to find out all about the event with Mickey Hazard, Graham Roberts, Mark Falcao, and Paul Miller before the game at Leeds, and how you can get involved in that and how you can go to that. And we'll be back. It's back to normal time now, 8 p.m. on Mondays and 12:30 on Fridays. It'll be Monday, the Leeds review. Hopefully it's a happy stream. Haven't had too many of those on a Monday this season, unfortunately. Hopefully we can pick up that win, get that elusive, the lesser spotted shot on target. Hopefully that will appear for us, and then we can kick our form back off, get Kane back in the goals, and then try and climb up that league and get to where we want to be. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks to Eugene, Tommy, Mark. Always a pleasure having you on. Always welcome. And everyone watching and adding comments in the channels. Really appreciate it. Until Monday, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
DV
Spurs.
out. Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching, for everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments. Before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @LTalkTottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!